Leadership law number 11, the law of the inner circle. Those closest to you determine the level of your success. In the life of all leaders, there comes a time when their goals, dreams, and vision exceed their ability to accomplish them. They realize there are not enough hours in a day or days in a year. There are talents they need that they do not possess. The skills they possess, which made them successful, are not the ones essential to climb the next mountain. When they reach that point, what do? Effective leaders rely on the law of the inner circle. They understand that those closest to you determine the level of your success. When we see incredibly gifted people, we can be tempted to believe that talent alone has made them successful. To think that is to buy into a lie. Nobody does anything great alone. Leaders do not succeed alone. Those closest to them determine the level of their success. What makes the difference is the leader's inner circle. I've been very fortunate because I've had a fantastic inner circle that has made me a better leader and helped me accomplish more than I could have ever done on my own. It started with my parents when I was a kid. I married well. Margaret faithfully supports me, loves me unconditionally in spite of my quirks and shortcomings. My brother Larry, a fantastic entrepreneur, advises me on business matters. I've had advisors and mentors who have helped me and shaped me, and I've been aided by people who compensate for my weaknesses and bring skills to the table that I lack. The people in my inner circle have changed over the years, with some people leaving and others arriving to help me. For example, when I was in my mid-30s, Barbara Brummagem came alongside of me and she made me better. She was my executive assistant for 11 years. After she moved away to take a leadership position, Linda Eggers, who was already working with me, became my executive assistant. She still serves me in that capacity today, more than 35 years later. She's indispensable to me, not only in handling the details of my life, but because she knows how I think and answers others in my place. Over 90% of the time, she doesn't even need to consult me. I tell leaders all the time, the first and most important hiring decision executives can make is who will they choose as their assistant. If you have a good one in your inner circle, it improves your leadership significantly. He or she will save you time, help your life to run more smoothly, enable you to remain focused on what only you can do. A good assistant should be in the room with you at a very important meeting. When Linda accompanies me, I don't have to carry anything into the meeting or out of it after we're done. Another long-time member of my inner circle is Charlie Wetzel, my writing partner. I hired him as my researcher, but in the first months he worked with me, he proved his value when he reworked the manuscript of Developing the Leaders Around You at the request of my publisher. That first year, he helped me write 3 books as well as articles, product descriptions, and marketing pieces. It wasn't long before I wanted him in the room anytime we were discussing writing or publishing. Charlie has been with me for 28 years, and together we've produced more than 100 books. A third longtime member of my inner circle is Mark Cole. I wasn't even the person who hired Mark. He was hired by someone in one of my companies and worked in the stockroom and then in sales. As he rose in responsibility, I got to know him better. By the time he became a vice president, he became a confidant. When he proved himself, he became the CEO of all 4 of my organizations. Today, he's not only the CEO, but also co-owner of the companies, and he is my successor. No one serves me or helps me the way Mark does, and has for over 20 years. You see, leaders are hired to deliver results. There is no substitute for performance, but without a good team, they often don't get that opportunity. Those closest to them determine the level of their success. That is the law of the inner circle. As I began teaching the laws of leadership 25 years ago, I could tell that many people were daunted by the idea of 21 laws. I understood their feelings. I am a great believer in making things as simple as possible. I would have loved to compile fewer than 21 laws of leadership, but when I boil leadership down to its essence, I still see 21 things a leader must do well to lead effectively. However, at the same time, I also recognize that no single leader can do all 21 things well. That's why every leader needs a team of people. As Mother Teresa observed, "You can do what I cannot do, and I can do what you cannot do. Together, we can do great things." That is the power of the law of the inner circle. Leadership expert Warren Bennis was right when he maintained, "The leader finds greatness in the group, and he or she helps the members find it in themselves." Think of any highly effective leader, and you will find someone who surrounded himself with a strong inner circle. You can see that in business, ministry, sports, even family relationships. Those closest to you determine the level of your success. Most human beings have some kind of inner circle, people close to them who help to make or break them. However, many people are not strategic in choosing them. Few people give enough thought to how those closest to them impact their effectiveness or leadership potential. We naturally tend to surround ourselves with either people we like or people with whom we are comfortable. But people who bring nothing more than fun or easiness will not help you to be successful. You see it all the time with certain athletes who transition to the professional ranks, with entertainers who achieve professional success. Some plateau or self-destruct because their inner circle is composed of people who are not helpful or are even harmful to them. To practice the law of the inner circle, you must be intentional in your relationship building. You need to invest in the best people around you and see how they respond. As you look for potential inner circle members, take the advice of longtime executive and retired president, CEO, and chairman of Agilent Technologies, Ned Barnholt. He believes that there are three kinds of people in an organization when it comes to leadership: those who get it almost immediately and they're often running with it, those who are skeptical and not sure what to do with it, and another third who start out negatively and hope it will go away. I used to spend most of my time with those who are most negative, said Barnholt, trying to convince them to change. Now I spend my time with people in the first group. I'm investing in my best assets. As people rise up, think about these three pre-qualifications before you begin drawing them in closer to become inner circle members. Only if they are solid in these three areas should you bring them into your circle. Number one, who they are. Anyone who's going to be an integral part of your life needs to have good character and share the same values that you have. When I invite people onto my team and consider them for my inner circle, I expect them to have integrity. They need to be honest and truthful and do what they say they'll do. I expect them to possess a positive attitude. A negative attitude never led anyone to a positive solution. I expect them to value excellence. Nothing hurts a business or a team more than settling for average. I expect them to show flexibility. I want to be able to change on a dime to pursue new opportunities or improve on something that we're already doing. I want them to exhibit loyalty. We all need to work together toward a common cause and respect one another as we do. I expect them to value people. Anyone who works with me must care about people and treat them with respect and dignity. I could go on, but I'm sure you got the idea. I will say this: in the past, when I haven't paid close enough attention to the values of someone I brought into my inner circle, I regretted it. So make sure to come up with your own list of values and then make sure a potential inner circle member possesses those values that you care about. Number two, what they do. Every person in my inner circle is fantastic at what they do. If they weren't, they wouldn't be there. They make me, the team, and the organization better because of their skills, talents, and ability. Because of my leadership giftedness, I naturally attract leaders. However, one of the best things I've done in my leadership career is to bring people into my inner circle who possess strengths that I don't. Because of this, they can point out my blind spots and compensate for my weaknesses, push back with perspectives that are different from my own, and bring different strengths to the organization. It's a great win-win. I'm a big believer in team chemistry. If your inner circle is going to work together and function as a team, then you need to consider how members interact with each other, how they fit. Just as members of a championship basketball team have complementary skills and compatible roles, you want all inner circle members to have places where they contribute, and they should make one another better, raise one another's game, whether by sharing information and wisdom or engaging in friendly competition. When they improve one another, they improve your entire team. The third thing I look at is how they lessen my load. I discussed in the law of addition how people add, subtract, multiply, or divide when it comes to others. The people in your inner circle must be adders or multipliers. They should have a proven track record as assets to the organization, and they should take some of the leadership load off of you. When I was growing up, my mother used to recite a poem to me by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. I've never forgotten it. There are two kinds of people on earth today, just two kinds of people. No more, I say. Not the sinner and the saint, for it's well understood that the good are half bad and the bad are half good. No, the two kinds of people on earth I mean are the people who lift and the people who lean. Your inner circle members need to be lifters, not just professionally, but also to you personally. They should add value to you. That may sound selfish, but it's not. Only if you reach your potential as a leader will the people on your team or in your organization have a chance to reach their potential. If the people around you don't make you better, then you need to get around other people. I'll mention one other factor to consider when thinking about potential inner circle members. Some people naturally belong in your inner circle because of their importance to the organization. For example, by virtue of being my CEO, Mark Cole should be in my inner circle because my organization cannot function without his leadership. However, Mark didn't become an inner circle member because of his position. Because he exhibits the three characteristics I have already described, he became a member of my inner circle, and from there he earned the right to become my CEO. If people are in your inner circle due only to their position, and you wouldn't otherwise put them there, then you may need to start looking for someone else to fill that position. People often ask me about the way I've developed my inner circle. I am strategic about bringing leaders around me, but the way they actually become part of my inner circle usually happens organically. As I work with people, I find myself relying on them more. I want them to be present in specific meetings, or I want them to lead particular projects. Over time, I discover how highly valuable they are to the team, the organization, and me. I don't perform a special ceremony and declare them to be an inner circle member. A day comes when I become aware that they are in the inner circle. Every person in my inner circle is a high performer and either extends my influence beyond my reach, provides essential skills that I lack, or helps me grow and become a better leader. I learned the principle of the inner circle in the 80s and I identified it as the law of leadership in 1997 when I wrote the first edition of this book. But in recent years, I've had a new revelation about the law of the inner circle, an addition to the law that I want to teach you now. I now recognize the importance of having an outer circle too. The outer circle is a group of people who help you expand your horizons. Think better, think bigger, get you out of your comfort zone, and give you ideas. They can be a great source of creativity, So let's look at the differences between the people in each group. For example, inner circle members assist me day to day. Outer circle members, they assist me from time to time. If you're in the inner circle, you help me lead better. If you're in the outer circle, you probably help me lead bigger. Inner circle members remain with me. Outer circle members, they change as I change. Inner circle members compensate for my weaknesses, where outer circle members, they complement my strengths. Inner circle members focus on today. Outer circle, they focus on tomorrow. Inner circle members help me implement. Outer circle members, they help me innovate. The inner circle people cover the details. The outer circle people uncover the big picture. The inner circle members close doors for me. The outer circle members open new doors in me. Developing an outer circle in addition to an inner circle is one of the most valuable things I've done in the last 5 years. Lee Iacocca said that success comes not from what you know, but from who you know and how you present yourself to each of those people. There's a lot of truth in that. If you want to increase your capacity and maximize your potential as a leader, your first step is to always become the best leader you can. The next is to surround yourself with the best leaders that you can find. As you develop the circles of people who influence you and help you influence others, start with your inner circle, because those closest to you determine the level of your success. Without an inner circle, no leader can go far. After you have developed a strong inner circle, start working on your outer circle. A leader who has one can go further than one who doesn't. And never forget that those closest to you determine the level of your success. That's the law of the inner circle. And that's the only way that you can reach the highest level possible. Often inner circle members will come from within the organizations that you lead. You've invested in them and they become highly valuable to you. Other times, they are family members that you rely on, or mentors who have guided you and made you a better leader. But occasionally they come to be in your inner circle by another path. That was the case for John Varican. I met John, or Juan as many friends call him, almost 30 years ago at a leadership event in Cancun. At that time, he worked for Lideray, a training organization that works with corporations and nonprofits. Though John is originally from Michigan, he moved to Mexico right out of school and led a church there. I always liked John because he has a great personality, but I didn't get to see him often. Then around 2001, my nonprofit organization wanted to start training leaders in Latin America, so we began working with Lideray. That's when I got to know John better and discovered what a fantastic leader he is. It wasn't long before he became a valuable member of my outer circle. He challenged my thinking, helped me to expand my vision, and taught me about Latin culture in South and Central America. The better I got to know him, the more I wanted him in the room when we talked about introducing training or transformation to new countries, and the more often I wanted him to lead some of our initiatives. He naturally transitioned from my outer circle to my inner circle. The first time I asked him to interpret for me when I was communicating on stage in a Spanish-speaking country, John blew me away. I was astonished by how talented he was. I've spoken in scores of countries with the help of hundreds of interpreters, and hands down, John Varican is the best that I have ever had. In fact, he is now my voice in every Spanish-speaking country of the world. Though John Maxwell Leadership Foundation would not be as successful as it is without John, and neither would I. That's the power of the law of the inner circle. It clearly proves that those closest to you determine the level of your success. When I wrote the Laws of Leadership, when I came to the law of inner circle, it was probably of all the laws the one that I took the most personal, and the reason for that is kind of a behind-the-scenes story. When I turned 40, I did a kind of like a halftime review of my life, and to be honest with you, I I became a little discouraged because I had not yet accomplished the things I really would have liked to have accomplished by that age. So for a couple of days, in kind of my melancholic, discouraged state, I kept asking myself, why am I not where I should be at this age? And I came to the conclusion that what I had not done well was develop my inner circle, that the team that I had were there to kind of delegate stuff to, but honestly, I hadn't really mentored them. I really hadn't equipped them. I hadn't really empowered them to carry a load for me. And so I made a commitment. People ask me, what was the most important business decision you ever made in your life? I'm going to tell you now what it was. The most important business decision I made in my life was to give my most attention and time and investment in my inner circle. And at 40, I started doing that. And now in my 70s, I look at the return of what it means to invest in people that are the closest to you, because they can make you or break you. I tell you that story because I can almost bet that some of you, as you're listening to me read the book, what you really need to do is you need to spend more investment time in those people who are closest to you. Here's what I know. As they go, so will you go. It is true. I may be the leader of the inner circle, but today the inner circle takes me to a level that I could not have ever gone without them. You really need them. So become intentional, kind of work on this chapter, and promise yourself, as I did at the age of 40, that you're going to put more time, effort, and energy in developing that team around you than anything else you do. I promise you, it'll be a great business decision, and it'll make a big difference.